Hey Liam, I'm so excited for the World Cup games, but imagine traveling all the way there and completely freezing at the airport when someone speaks English to you. Why does that happen to so many learners?
It's a huge fear, Emma. I've seen students who felt 100% confident completely blank out the second they stepped off the plane. That's because real travel English is a whole different beast.
It's like your brain completely wipes its hard drive the moment you step into a foreign country.
Precisely. But that's exactly what we are going to fix today. By the end of this lesson, you'll know the exact real-world phrases people actually use, from the immigration line all the way to the stadium gates.
That is going to be incredibly useful. So let's paint the picture. We've just landed in the host country. What is usually the very first high-pressure conversation travelers face?
For 95% of people, it's the immigration desk. That moment feels terrifying because it's a formal setting, everything is happening in fast English, and learners automatically assume the conversation is going to be highly complicated.
But is it actually that complicated in reality?
Not at all, Emma. In fact, immigration officers run through the exact same script of questions every single day. They aren't trying to test your English or grade your grammar, they are simply collecting basic information.
That is so reassuring to hear, because I think many learners stress out imagining they'll need advanced fancy vocabulary just to get through.
That is one of the absolute biggest travel myths. Simple, direct English is always more than enough. Your goal at the airport is to communicate clearly, not to impress the officer.
So, what are the exact questions travelers should prepare their ears for?
They will almost always ask about three things: your purpose, your duration, and your accommodation. Expect questions like, "What is the purpose of your visit?" Or, "How long will you be staying?" Or, "Where are you staying?" Once you expect those exact patterns, the stress completely vanishes.
So, it's really about eliminating the element of surprise and becoming familiar with the situation beforehand.
Spot on. Familiar situations naturally create confident speakers.
I love that. So instead of panicking and trying to translate word by word at the desk, what is the best approach to answer them smoothly?
You want to think and complete pre-built ideas instead of loose individual words. If you already have natural travel blocks ready in your head before your trip, your brain will recognize the officer's question instantly and retrieve the answer without any delay.
That sounds exactly like how native speakers naturally handle these situations. Okay, so once we successfully pass immigration and collect our bags, what is the very next challenge?
Navigating your way through a massive, busy airport to find your transport out of there.
Oh, absolutely. Foreign airports can feel completely overwhelming, especially when you're surrounded by thousands of excited football fans from all over the world.
They definitely can. You're trying to find baggage claim, navigate the signs, and figure out exactly where the taxis or your hotel shuttle leave from.
I imagine that's precisely when learners start stressing out about having to ask someone for help.
They do, but it's much easier than people think. Airport staff answer the exact same questions all day long. They are completely used to speaking with international visitors.
So travelers really shouldn't be afraid to speak up. Once we finally manage to leave the airport, does transportation become our next big adventure?
Exactly. Whether you're catching a taxi, hopping on a train, or navigating the subway, you're bound to have another quick conversation.
So mastering just a few highly natural expressions can take you a really long way.
Yes. You don't need 50 different ways to ask for directions. You just need one or two solid expressions that feel 100% comfortable and natural for you.
I really like that approach because it removes so much unnecessary pressure.
That is the ultimate goal of today's lesson. I want learners to realize that travel English isn't about mastering the entire language. It's simply about knowing the specific expressions that solve real-life situations.
Speaking of transportation, I've noticed something else. Travelers often start chatting with other fans on the way, before they even step foot inside the stadium. Am I right?
Oh, it happens all the time. The World Cup creates this incredible, festive atmosphere where complete strangers naturally start talking to one another.
So football literally becomes the easiest conversation starter in the world. You don't have to stress about finding a topic because the topic is already right there in front of you. I imagine people immediately start asking where everyone is from.
That is by far the most common question you'll hear. From there, the conversation naturally flows into which team they're supporting, what matches they have tickets for, or how long they're staying in the city.
Those interactions sound so much more relaxed and friendly than I originally expected.
They really are. Absolutely nobody is grading your English grammar. They are simply excited to connect with people from different corners of the world.
I think many learners hold back because they worry way too much about making minor mistakes.
That's completely understandable, but remember something highly important. The vast majority of the people you'll meet during the World Cup won't be native English speakers either.
That is actually a fantastic point. Okay, so we've successfully made it out of the airport and finally arrived at our hotel. I think this is another specific moment where many English learners start feeling that sudden wave of nervousness. Why does checking into a hotel seem so intimidating?
Mostly because they expect a long, drawn-out, complicated conversation. In reality, hotel check-ins are incredibly predictable. Once you've experienced one or two of them, you'll realize they follow almost the exact same pattern every single time.
So the conversation isn't nearly as unpredictable as people imagine in their heads.
Not at all. The receptionist usually just needs to do 3 basic things. Confirm your reservation, explain a few quick details like breakfast hours or the Wi-Fi password, and hand over your room key.
Once we've successfully checked in, I imagine most people drop their bags and immediately head out to explore the host city.
They certainly do, and that's when traveling becomes even more exciting. Every single street, cafe, and public square becomes a real opportunity to practice English completely naturally.
I love that perspective because at that point, you're no longer just studying English from a textbook. You're actually living in English.
That's one of the biggest advantages of traveling. Instead of creating imaginary conversations in a classroom, you're having real conversations with real people.
I think that's exactly when learners begin to realize they know way more English than they thought. They start noticing they can easily drop in simple, practical phrases like, "Where can I buy a match ticket? Is there a good restaurant nearby?" Or just, "Could you take a photo of us, please?"
Exactly. Sometimes that very first interaction on the streets usually feels a bit scary, but the second one already feels easier. By the time you're on your 3rd or 4th conversation, you realize people actually understand you.
Confidence grows through experience. I love that. Eventually, though, everyone gets hungry. Besides restaurants, cafés seem like another great place to practice English.
They really are. Cafes are usually way more relaxed, which makes conversations feel much less stressful.
And during the World Cup, they're probably absolutely packed with passionate football fans from all over.
Exactly. You'll constantly hear people chatting about yesterday's match, sharing predictions, or talking about today's games using easy phrases like, "Did you catch the game last night?" "Who do you think will qualify for the next round?" Or simply, "The atmosphere in the city is incredible."
So simply sitting nearby and enjoying a coffee actually becomes a fantastic listening lesson.
That is honestly one of my favorite travel tips. Sometimes you learn the most useful English just by actively listening to the natural conversations happening right around you.
One thing I truly love about the World Cup is seeing fans from so many different countries hanging out together.
It really is incredible. It's one of the few global events where people from every single continent come together, completely united by one shared passion.
And because of that, football gives everyone something to talk about immediately.
That's exactly it. And the more familiar these situations become in your mind right now, the more relaxed and prepared you'll feel when they happen in real life.
So, we've successfully arrived, checked into our hotel, explored the city, and even started meeting fans from around the world. But what happens when things don't go according to plan?
That's a great question, Emma. You don't need flawless, perfect English to solve them. You just need to stay calm and communicate your point clearly. For instance, if you get completely turned around on your way to the stadium, you can just ask someone, "Excuse me, I'm lost. Which way is the stadium?"
I think getting lost or turned around is easily one of the absolute biggest fears travelers have.
It definitely is, especially when you're in a massive city you've never visited before. But asking for directions is much easier than most learners imagine. Whether you miss your train, hop on the wrong bus, or just can't find the correct platform, remember that transportation staff answer those exact questions every single day. Helping travelers is literally their job.
So they're already completely used to speaking with international visitors, right?
Exactly. Many of them interact with tourists from dozens of different countries every single week.
That definitely makes the situation feel much less intimidating.
It really should. Most people genuinely want to help you out, especially during a huge, festive international event like the World Cup.
Another situation I can easily imagine causing a bit of panic is finally arriving at the stadium.
That's a perfect example. Because stadium environments are incredibly exciting, but they can also be massive and confusing.
I bet. There are thousands of passionate fans walking in every single direction.
Exactly. You're trying to find the correct entrance gate, your specific section, your seat, or maybe just a restroom and a place to buy food and drinks before kickoff.
I think many learners become nervous in that moment because everything is happening so quickly around them.
That's completely understandable. But stadium staff are stationed everywhere for that exact reason. They fully expect visitors to ask for help, so you can just use easy phrases like, "Where is gate number 5?" or "Can you show me where section B is?"
So asking questions isn't annoying to them at all. It's completely normal.
Absolutely. During the World Cup, you're just one of thousands of visitors trying to navigate the venue and enjoy the match. Nobody expects you to know where everything is.
We have covered so many real-world travel situations today already.
We definitely have, Emma. But there's still one final piece that's going to bring this entire method together. At the end of each day of your trip, I want you to look back and think about the conversations you had. Not all of them, though. Just the ones that you actually remember.
So we are not trying to mentally review every single interaction from the entire day?
Exactly. We're only focusing on the specific conversations that naturally stuck in your mind.
And what exactly should we be looking for in those memories?
Choose just one sentence that someone said to you that day. Maybe it was something an airport employee said, or a phrase a taxi driver used.
Just one single sentence?
just one. That is truly all you need.
I think many learners would instinctively try to memorize 20 new expressions every single evening to feel like they are progressing.
And that is exactly why they end up forgetting most of them. Your brain gets overwhelmed. One highly useful real-world sentence is infinitely more valuable than 20 random sentences you'll never use again.
Once we have chosen that one special sentence, what is the next step?
Keep it simple. Write it down, read it out loud a few times to lock in the pronunciation, and then ask yourself one simple question. When could I use this exact phrase tomorrow?
I really love that question because it immediately connects the new English you just learned straight back to your real life.
That is exactly the goal here, Emma. We are not collecting English just to fill up a notebook. We are collecting English to actually use it in real live conversations.
So the very next day immediately becomes another golden opportunity to practice.
Exactly. Maybe you'll use that exact sentence while ordering your breakfast at the cafe, or maybe while chatting with another fan on the subway. The most important thing is that you actually put it into action.
I think that is what makes this specific habit so incredibly powerful. It is such a refreshing and different way of thinking about learning English.
It really is. Instead of separating your travel experiences from your language learning, you combine them into one. Every single experience becomes another natural opportunity to improve.
I imagine that by the end of the World Cup, someone following this daily habit would have a really unique and useful collection of English.
Absolutely. By the time you pack your bags to fly home, you'll have dozens of natural, high-quality sentences permanently connected to real, vivid memories.
Wow. Before we finish up today, could you leave everyone with one final message?
I'd love to. If you ever have the chance to travel for a massive event like the World Cup, please don't spend your trip worrying about making minor mistakes. Don't stay silent just because your English isn't flawless. By the time you fly home, you won't just have amazing memories of the games. You'll also have a level of confidence you never thought possible.
I think that's the perfect way to end today's lesson. Before you go, tell us in the comments, if you could travel to any World Cup host city tomorrow, where would you go first? We'd love to read your travel plans.
And if you enjoyed today's lesson, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a lesson.
Also, if you want to learn even more real travel English, make sure to click on the next video on your screen right now. You definitely don't want to miss it.
And we'll see you in the next lesson.
Bye!
Bye!